session 5 of Hang In There. How do we hang in there when things get really tough? People who live in areas where Christians are persecuted, either with imprisonment or even death, ask us to pray for them. However, most of them don't ask us to pray that the persecution will cease. They ask us to pray that they will have the strength to stand. People who kidnap others for ransom or to break their will use a tactic where they tell them nobody knows where you are or what's happening to you. And that's very powerful in breaking a person's will. The Christians that are undergoing persecution want to know that others are standing with them, and that's more important than praying the persecution to cease. We have a story in Acts where Herod he executed James, and he saw how much pleasure this gave the local people, and so he arrested Peter and put him in prison, with presumably to execute him the next day. But the Christians got together and they prayed well into the night, because it was after midnight when Peter finally knocked on the door. What they were praying for, we don't know. Maybe they were praying that Peter would stand firm. Maybe they were praying that his life would be spared. But when he appeared on the doorstep, they didn't believe that it was he. Now, it doesn't sound like they'd been praying for his release. But fervent prayer enabled amazing things to happen, because it was an angel who rescued him out of the prison, with doors opening seemingly of their own accord. The key to being able to stand firm in prayer. Our prayers aren't always answered in a dramatic way like Peter's friends' prayers were. Sometimes we have to keep praying when we don't seem to see an answer. A faith that holds on when nothing seems to be happening builds character. It has to be built on an understanding that God is trustworthy, He knows what He is doing, and His timing is perfect. So we have to learn to trust Him in the hard times as well as the good. And then in 1 Timothy chapter 2, we're urged to pray for the leaders so that we can have a safe community to live in. This raises an interesting question of how do you pray for a leader that you believe is evil? But the instruction here is that we should pray for our leaders no matter what they're like. I believe that our prayers should not be negative. There was a town in the USA where their leader was, well, the Christians thought he was the Antichrist, and they prayed in such a way. But the result was that he got worse and worse, and the whole community suffered. We need to pray blessing on our leaders, blessing in the way that God is then able to speak into their lives. If we pray for them, then God can put His ideas into their minds. Our prayers can change the whole atmosphere of a community in which we live. You see, standing firm isn't just standing against the negative, it's also standing for the positive.
What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. Oh, because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. the Lord in prayer. Are we weak and heavy laden, covered with a load of care? Jesus is our only refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do your friends despise, forsake you? Take it to the Lord in prayer. In His arms He'll take and shield you. You will find a soul